Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 23rd regular session of the North Andover Select Board. It's 7:06 p.m. and we're now out of executive session and into our regular session for the night. I ask you to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to move into our public comment period. Per the Select Board policy, public comment is not a discussion, debate, or dialogue between citizens and the Select Board. It is a citizen's opportunity to express his or her opinion on issues of town business. The board may respond to a public comment by taking it under consideration when deliberating on an agenda item or referring the item to the administration for appropriate action or response. Public comment shall be for a period of up to 15 minutes, with speakers being allowed 3 minutes to present their material. Is anybody here for public comment? Okay. Please come on up and identify yourself.
Audrey Elliott, Fox Hill Road. Good evening. While I understand the Select Board does not manage day-to-day operations of the fire department, you do enact rules and regulations establishing townwide policies that the fire department must follow. Again, as many are aware, firefighter Justin Elaine continues to be a considerable safety concern for this town. I understand he is currently suspended with pay pending investigation. I do hope it's an outside neutral agency performing the investigation. Mr. Elaine is on video over 270 times within an 8 to 10 week period smoking what is believed to be marijuana. He is very aware of the town drug policy as well as the state policy regarding smoking for firefighters. I should not need to remind you, the residence that he lived in during that period is not 1,000 feet from a school. The concern there was the outback smoking while children were present during school hours. In addition to this, there are allegations of heavy alcohol use, using Adderall not prescribed to him, taking Ativan not prescribed to him to ward off the alcoholic intoxication effects. I cannot see him being fit for duty if he needs to drink cooking wine at the station to ward off the shakes. How deep does this issue go in the department? Has mandatory random testing been recently carried out on all? Firefighters face high rates of alcohol and drug abuse, often linked to occupational stress, trauma, and a culture of camaraderie. I know many would prefer to sweep it under the rug until things calm down, but the liability to the town and every single resident is huge. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public comment?
Hi, Joanna O'Connell, 55 Brightwood Ave. I'm here to talk about the new sustainable purchasing policy that's on the agenda to adopt by the Board of Selectmen. The policy we currently have in place is called a buy recycled policy. It acts as a best practice document asking town departments to purchase products which are environmentally preferable and or made of recycled materials whenever such products meet quality requirements and are available at reasonable prices and terms. It also notes that North Andover will make more efficient use of our natural resources, recycle materials that would otherwise become waste, such as paper, cans, bottles, etc., in all municipal buildings in support of the Mass DEP waste ban, which prohibits disposal of these items, which can otherwise be recycled, and serve as a model for private and public institutions. The policy talks about how we can work together to achieve this, and in cooperation with our district schools who recycle and divert all food waste every day at lunch, North Andover can be proud to show leadership in the area of good environmental practices and consistent with our intent to be a good example to our youth. This policy has been in place for years, and it's required to apply for a Mass DEP grant called a Recycle Dividend Program. This grant provides payments to qualifying municipalities that have implemented specific waste reduction, reuse, and recycling programs and policies. Some of the examples of the activities that our committee, I should have stated that I'm with the North Andover Sustainability Committee, and I have a couple of my members here with me. we work to get this grant every year, and the buy recycle policy is a qualifying document that we need in place in order to apply for the grant. Some of the activities that our committee has started in some cases and helped to continue each year include helping the DPW, encouraging the DPW-led household hazardous waste days, having a zero waste day in the fall to collect hard to recycle items and energy-efficient, inefficient dehumidifiers. We have green team leadership at every school in town. We help have residents access to multilingual recycling handouts available online. We have backyard compost bins available to residents at a discount price to promote soil creation and waste reduction. Have an active sustainability committee that maintains social media postings in partnership with Recycle Smart to promote correct ways to recycle. Have a spring townwide cleanup event and a new event that we're promoting in the community with collaboration with the library, a Fix-It clinic to promote folks to try to fix items rather than throw them into the trash. The committee's been able to apply for these funds every year for the past 5 years, receiving between $7,000 and $14,000 each year for the town of North Andover, and we've been able to put that to the Green Schools program, which is the composting program. We're diverting over 700 pounds of food waste and other compostable materials per day throughout the district, and using about 50 trash bags less per week, which is equivalent to about 130,000 pounds a year, and about 2,000 less trash bags, which is turned to soil instead of creating trash. Am I done? My 3 minutes are up. Okay. I just encourage that we adopt this policy. I have some other committee members that don't talk quite as much as me, and they'll be able to help out with that too. So, okay. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we also have 2 emails that came through on public comment. One was from Rachel Pronovost in favor of the purchasing policy, and one was from Bethany. I have terrible phonics issues, I'm sorry. Bethany, Wieczzorek, also in favor of the policy.
I think there may actually even be a couple more,
Oh,
but
okay.
so if we can just,
Okay.
yes, we'll attach them to, yep.
Great, thank you.
Perfect, okay. Is there anyone else here for public comment?
Eric McCarthy, 19 Commonwealth Ave. I'm also here speaking on behalf of the sustainability policy. I'll keep it brief. The policy itself has changed. The wording is different. But what I'd like you guys to focus on is that inside of that new updated policy is whenever feasible. So while the wording has changed, there is no additional contractual agreement or any additional money that we're asking for. We're just asking for the same grant that's been approved before. And like I said, while the terminology in the policy has changed, something that we can focus on is that it's whenever feasible for us. And that is at your discretion. I can go on to say how much I enjoy the Sustainability Committee and how wonderful that grant has been, but I think when it comes down to it, we're concerned about money, and realistically, this is still at your discretion whenever feasible. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Okay. Thank you all, and we are going to move on now to our first item of new business, which is the Planning Board report for town meeting. So I'm going to ask Planning Board Chair Eitan Goldberg to come on up and fill us in. Thank you.
Eitan Goldberg, Planning Board Chair.
Thank you.
All right, we have a very light Planning Board warrant
I was gonna say,
articles.
This might be your easiest.
So we actually have just 2 articles, and what they are is, last year, as you all may recall, we passed a bylaw as to accessory dwelling units. We have had some action on that. We just recently had our first permit issued for an accessory dwelling unit. There have been some other applications that have gone through for ones that didn't have to come before the board. So the bylaw is effective and working, which is great. When the Attorney General reviewed it, she did pass it, but she did send back a letter with some comments with some suggested changes. So that's what they're basically pretty administrative changes. So I'll just walk you through them. One change was that we had put in that you couldn't do an ADU on a non-conforming structure. They said that that was not acceptable, so we've taken that out of the bylaw, and having language to do that. The other another change was that we said that an ADU proposed to be constructed by adding a gross floor area to a single-family residential dwelling has to be in compliance with zoning, which is true, with the exception of minimum lot size requirements. So we just added in something that said with the exception of minimum lot size requirements. We clarified some language about stairways and clarified some language. We had written that it couldn't be used for boarding, lodging, or other commercial use, which is still true. We just put in a clarification that says that doesn't mean you can't rent it out for residential purposes, which was what, frankly, we thought what our wording said, but they wanted it a little bit even more clear that what we said was what we meant. And then finally, we kind of changed the table. So our table just was wrong in terms of where one-family dwellings were allowed in which district. So now we're just updating the table to match what the zoning bylaws we currently say. So nothing in the accessory dwelling unit bylaw is really changing. We're just making the language reflect what the state law is. And that's in kind of both of the two bylaws. So that's really all I got. Can take any questions, but that's it. Okay, nice and easy.
Your lucky year. I know. What are we doing?
And I'll leave on that note. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ethan. Item B is we will be hearing an update from Superintendent Lathrop regarding the school budget. So we welcome her up to talk to us. You have to hold your mouth right for it to work, but.
Okay. I'm sorry. Computer. I'll make it work. Does it go in a slideshow or no? No, okay, it's all good. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Pam Lathrop, Superintendent, Gail Dowd, Interim Finance Director, Joe Hicks, Chair of the School Board. Because the superintendent's recommended budget has already been approved, it's really the school committee's budget now, so we're here. So I have the long version, because I brought the short version to the finance committee, and that didn't seem to be quite enough. So I brought the long version to the select board, and then we can either give you, I'm happy to skip through some of these slides or not. But just to give an overview, I'm going to go to the next one. Budget presentation. So far, we presented in December. I gave a budget consideration to the school committee, so they had some understanding of what was coming up. January 8th was the superintendent's FY27 recommended budget presentation. January 15th was our public hearing, and on January 29th, the school committee voted to accept the recommended school budget. Just a little history for you, FY26, we had a budget of $69.2 million. This year, we have spent, of that, about $60 million is towards personnel, and a little over $13 million is general expenses. Just to give you a sense of what the timeline looks like, so we really start building our school budget in August. August through November is when we're creating our district improvement plans, our school improvement plans. We're starting to accept budget requests from our leadership team. We're looking at our salary and our non-salary build-outs, looking at our collective bargaining agreements. That's when the school committee creates their budget directives. And then we start to look at our grade level enrollment for the upcoming school year. Starting in December, we have our tri-board meeting. We start to look at, we hear about the financial forecasting from the town manager. In December, we were given our allocation of 4.05% on top of this year's school budget. It's slightly a little bit larger, but we can talk about that. we start to analyze any of our school performance data, our staffing, our enrollment, analyzing what our budget requests may have been from our school leaders earlier, and then we start our presentation. We are also this year, in December, we started a 5-year strategic plan. So we have a strategic plan committee. We're working with Teaching Learning Alliance. That should be ready towards the end of this school year, which is really projecting out what, the next 5 years, what we're looking for in North Andover Public Schools. And then in January, we had our budget presentations to the town. This is a recap of the budget priorities that the school committee set forth when we were developing the school budget this year. There are really 4 buckets: looking at fiscal responsibility, looking at the needs of all learners, instructional quality, and safe and supportive schools. So just to give you a little sense of what some of the budget requests were from some of our building leaders and our curriculum directors, we're looking to continue high-quality instructional material adoptions in K-12, start our strategic plan and implement, strengthen and support our program and staffing for special education. That largely comes out of the audit that we had from Urban Collaborative. Continued multi-tiered systems of support, that's known as MTSS. That's how we help students within the classroom, Tier 1 learning, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Continue and increase teacher leadership structures. Continue and increase mental health supports for our students. Continue to expand for teaching and learning, where there was a request for an assistant principal at the high school, the middle school, and at ABECC. To continue strengthen our world language program. 6 to 8 related arts teachers were requested, assistant coaches for varsity athletics, facility upgrades or improvements, technology upgrades, and a request to increase the daily substitute rate. These are the students of North Andover, so this is demographics that was taken from the Department of Education's website. So the last time it was posted was 2024-25. When I did this, the school year 25 was not up yet. But I think it's important that we really look at who are the students that are in front of us. Who are our North Andover students? So this is the way we started when thinking about planning for this year's for FY27 budget, knowing that we weren't going to have everything on that list that you just saw ahead of us. Something to just to consider when you look at students on where it says selected student population, and that's just the way that DESE categorizes that topic. High need students would be students who are English learners, low income, and students with disabilities. So those 3 populations of students make the group high needs learners.
Separate group. It kind of rolls up the ones below it.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And some of the numbers, if you look at those 3 categories separately, they don't add up to 38.7 because some kids are dually identified in one or more of those categories.
So moving forward, when I presented the FY27 superintendent's budget, I shared with the school committee that the budget would preserve services, which would mean maintain all current essential services and programs for students. Class size was going to be maintained, where they were looking to do a slight reduction at the middle school, prioritize special education and programming for our special education students. Transportation will be addressed in this budget. We need to reduce some crowding on some of our school buses and improve our route efficiency. And then this budget has a priority on early learning, looking to support our early learning initiatives and build a strong foundation, as well as an investment to increase the overall school spending to support our district goals. So as I shared, FY26, our budget was $69.2 million. We had a budget increase of 4.05%, which is $2.8 million. So the initial FY27 budget was $72 million. After having a conversation with the town manager and talking about some of our curriculum needs, she increased our budget by $200,000, which gave us a total increase of $3 million, or a recommended a total budget of $72.2 million. So the FY27 superintendent's recommended budget is $79.2 million. You will see here that the budget shows salaries at about $60 million and expenses a little about $14 million, which does come in over the $72.2 million, but the recommended budget is $72.2, which you'll hear moving forward. The overage of 1.5, I shared in full transparency with the school committee why we're planning to spend the additional money and how we propose to spend that additional money without additional asks. This slide shows you, if you'd like to just have for information, what the salary breakdown looks like in FY27. You'll see that the largest amount of our salary is on our teaching, which is where we would want to see that. These are the folks that are with our kids every day, and we would want to put the bulk of our money towards our teaching staff. So just a reminder, or as I reminded the school committee, a level service budget funds include the salary expenses. That's all of our staff. That's our COLA, our STEP, our column changes, and any other contractual obligations we have. A level service budget should fund special education, out-of-district tuitions, changes, and any additional student placements. It has transportation costs. That's for both general, special education, foster and unhomed, and as well as athletics, and then any other known contractual obligations that we might have. As we were planning for FY27, these were some of the salary agreements these are our salary agreements. You'll see that the ones teaching assistants we're currently in negotiations with, and our administrative assistants we're also currently in negotiations with. I mentioned in the beginning that one of the things we start to look at as we're planning for a budget is our class needs. You'll see at the Franklin School, they have 4 classes in all of their grades except for 5th grade. And we anticipate those four classes aren't going away, so we need to add an additional class in 5th grade next year. We did look at our anticipated kindergarten enrollment to 1st grade, and that's remained stable, so we didn't have any losses in 1st grade. So you'll see in the recommendation an additional classroom teacher for Franklin. So the FY27 budget, these are the recommended staffing additions. There was an addition of 1 elementary teacher, which you just saw, an addition of 1 middle school teacher, and that's to help reduce some of the larger classes, most likely towards related arts, but we are still continuing to work through that. The addition of 3 special education positions. 2 of those positions will support our RISE program. Our RISE program are for students who are profoundly autistic, and that's at the ABECC and the Franklin School. And then the 3rd position will support general special education. Lynn O'Neill, who's our Director of Special Education, will be, and this is the time when she starts to look at where the needs are in all of our schools based on IEP needs. And so once that's determined, we'll know where that 3rd position is going. There's an addition of 1 assistant principal at ABECC. Speaks to the early literacy initiatives. We have some obligations to start thinking about not that we don't have curriculum in preschool, but as we start to expand high-quality instructional materials and looking at our preschooling curriculum, as well as we had some retirements at ABECC that we did not fill. The last few years, the person had stayed on with us in a part-time capacity, but that has since ended. So we've asked for an assistant principal in this budget. And then an addition of 3 teaching assistants. And in all transparency, those 3 teaching positions are already in our school budget. They are for students who either who came to us in the beginning of the year or at some point in the year who needed some type of teaching assistant. And so we fund them through our line item of long-term substitutes. So they're here as a long-term substitute this year, but those students will remain with us and those needs remain. So those 3 positions have to go into the general budget next year. And that's why there's an addition of 3 teaching assistants. And then the recommendation is to increase our daily substitute rate to $125. We're not really competitive with our substitute rate here in North Andover, and it is a challenge for us to have consistent substitutes on a daily basis. Say it again?
What is it today?
It's 100.
What is the norm? Like, what's the average?
I would say that there are some that's about 125. There's some that's 145, 165. I mean, it does range, but 125 definitely gets us closer to.
Doesn't it vary depending on people's education?
In
and
other
whatnot?
places.
Like, yeah, I've seen
It
that.
not here yet, and that's
Okay.
maybe something that we work towards, but in other districts, sometimes if you're a retired teacher from that district, you receive more money because the idea is that you really already know the curriculum, so you can basically come in and start teaching. If you have a degree in education, you may be paid a little bit more. We don't have a tiered system at this point. And then in the original slides, the one that's in gray at the bottom was not ever there. I realized it later on and put it in when, in some of my recap slides. So also part of staffing is we are adding an additional library support staff. Elementary library was one of the areas that we had several cuts last year, and it has been a hardship for our librarians to maintain library services and maintain the library. So this would be a support staff that would be shared among libraries. So in regards to expenses, the expenses that are recommended above and beyond in FY27 is $175,000 of technology that would be allocated to replace our Chromebooks. We really need to get on a system of replacement. Contracting that one additional general education bus. As I said, we have overcrowded buses and they're not quite as efficient as we'd like to see them. We have made a proposal to reallocate grant funds to the general fund, so $100,000 for out-of-district tuition and $150,000 to out-of-district transportation. That's largely because we're uncertain about what those grant funds might look like and what we might be receiving. Our IDA grant has come in lower each year, the last few years, and we want to make sure that we can support known tuitions and transportation. This budget has an increase in athletics based on the current trending, so that would be an increase to support the athletic budget, and an increase of per pupil allocations in school budgets. So this is the amount of money that we allocate to each building principal based on the amount of students in their building to be able to support some of their curriculum initiatives. All of the schools had a cut in their per pupil expenditures this year, and it has been a bit of a challenging year for them. We asked them to write school improvement goals. We'd like to give them some funding to be able to do some of the work that they're trying to do. So that's really the vein. These other slides are some of the additional slides, and I'll just go through them really quickly so that I can help you understand why the school budget came in at 72.2 and why I'm proposing to spend 73. This slide here, and you can look at it another time, just really shows you the FTE salary and the stipend allocation, so what we're spending for how many FTEs we have, and then what we show in the general budget and what we show in grant revolving. So we actually have more staff than what typically shows in the general budget because we do support some of our staff through grants. The same thing for funding. We support some of our staff through grants, and I think that's important for people to know. This shows you just a breakdown of the staffing costs, what it costs for our North Andover Public School staff, what it costs for our support staff, our administrative compensation, and then any other staff in our district. This chart shows you what expenses look like, what our transportation expenses are, out-of-district placements, teaching materials. It just gives you how we got to that number of expenses. Transportation is always a big question, so we wanted to share with folks what the transportation services look like in terms of both in-district education, out-of-district special education, in-district general education, our homeless and foster care transportation. You'll also see we do currently support some of our transportation through the IDA grant and the revolving account. Here's a nice little good news chart. Folks always say, if we built more programs in district, would we be able to keep our students in? And over the last few years, Lynn O'Neill, who's Director of Special Education, has done some restructuring of our programs, and we have invested in special education, and we are proposing to invest more this year in special education, and you will see that our out-of-district numbers are starting to move downwards, which is great to see.
It's less expensive to keep them here than to send them out.
Much less expensive to keep them here.
Tens of thousands.
There you go. So these are out-of-district tuition costs for FY27. So here's how we propose to get to bridge the gap. FY26 anticipated reimbursement of $2.5 million, and I definitely will have Gail jump in for some clarification from circuit breaker. Oh, let me just back up a little bit. FY26 anticipated reimbursement of $2.5 million to be received during FY27. we're going to propose to use 1.5 million of our anticipated 2.5 million in FY '27 to bridge the gap. Circuit breaker are funds that we can carry over for a year. We have been working very hard this year under Gail's direction to build a year's worth of circuit breaker. It has been a very long time since North Andover has had a reserve of circuit breaker funds. This is the first time in a long time that we have, but we feel comfortable committing to taking 1.5 million of that to use to be able to support this, which leaves $1 million in circuit breaker reserves.
Could you explain what circuit breaker funds are?
Nothing to do with electricity. It is, it's a program through the state. It's almost akin to a grant where, based upon your actual costs for the district, if you reach a certain high water mark, you can submit for reimbursement of those additional costs. The state has been working very hard to increase funding for that through the Every Student Succeeds Act. So they've added transportation costs. Previously, you weren't able to submit for reimbursement for transportation. The tricky part becomes it's based upon the claim you submit July 1st. So July 1st, we'll submit a claim on this year's reimbursement. The state then reviews it and determines how much the reimbursement is. The goal is that they would get to 75% reimbursement. We don't budget for that because it really depends upon the governor's budget, which some years they fund it at that, some years they don't. So this is a conservative estimate based upon what we think our claim would be and what the reimbursement would be.
So it's really based on the year back,
It's a year back. So next year, the money we get next year is based upon the claim we submit on this year's expenses. So it's,
like a tax return.
And we're anticipating 2.5 million.
yeah. So there's,
Conservatively.
That's a conservative.
that's a conservative, but what we're also doing, as Superintendent mentioned, is the goal is to keep more students in districts. So to the extent we're able to decrease the amount of out-of-district tuition and transportation, your claim will then decrease as well. So it's, we look at all of that. Exactly.
And this is for reimbursements for special education out-of-district expenses.
Transportation, tuition, and you are able to claim some in-district expenses, but those are a little bit trickier to do. And
Not about this, but is there, what's sort of like the minimum the state, might they only reimburse 40% or something? Like, is there a general?
typically, I would say a safe estimate is to budget around a 64, 65%. Unless they're doing unless you've really got major cuts coming from the state, typically they are trying to preserve this. They just don't go out of the gate at the 75%. You'll see that we did get additional reimbursement really late in the year last year when they did the supplemental budget. We actually didn't receive those funds until this year, so that has really helped us to be able to get to a point where we can save it. And per the state law, you are able to carry 100% of your prior year claim forward.
I would
So
assume that that's sort of the goal, right?
that is the
Your
goal
own-
because it
but
gives
this
you
is essentially one-time.
budgeting
money.
fact certain. You know, if you have 100% reserve, I'll call it in the bank, you can budget fact certain and say, I know I have
Yes.
$1 million
Wanna
sitting
do
there,
your
there's
head,
no risk to it. If, when you're trying to build it, you have a little bit of risk because you don't know what your claim's going to be and you don't know what your reimbursement rate's going to be. So best practice is to be able to build it. And what it also affords you is in a year where you have unanticipated out-of-district placements, you can tap into that money and utilize it.
But we're going to use it to fund positions,
We're going to use
well, for part of the
both
budget, right?
amounts of it, and again, we would still end the year with a reserve, which is not something and we will say, we'll show it in the last couple of months that we actually are preserving more of this year's circuit breaker than we anticipated when we built the budget, because we've had some great success stories where kiddos have come back. We've also had a few move out of district that we've had savings from, so we're actually in a better position that we won't be using as much of next year's circuit breaker.
Some of it.
Some of it, but not as
Right,
much
you're
as
gonna
we
use
anticipated.
A little over half of it or whatever.
We're using 60% of it, and does using it in this manner impact future claims in future years? In no way, they don't evaluate
Each
that?
year is its own individual, the claim is based on 12 months of expenses. So every year you reset it, and the claim is based upon what you submit. So how you spend it does not impact. And worst case scenario, which you would never want to do, is if you unintentionally did not spend it, you just have to send the money back to the state, which there are enough eyes on it that we would not allow that to happen. So there's no penalty, there's nothing that happens if you spend more than 1 year's in 1 year or carry it forward.
So, yeah, I guess then that's where maybe I lost this a little bit as you guys were kind of chatting about the carry forward and budgeting for 100%. Can you explain that to me one more time, just in terms of what our assumptions can be that we can actually rely upon here?
Yep.
That's what I'm,
So, once you get to a point where you have 100% carry forward in your circuit breaker, you budget fact certain because you know you have it in the bank and you haven't touched it. This year, we're working towards being able to have as much as possible of this year's claim reserved. So we have some assumptions because we did the budget early enough in the year, so we made an assumption of how much we would carry forward. We're actually doing better than we had anticipated because we've had great news when that happens, because we've had students come back in district, and we've had a couple of,
In many years, it's the opposite.
correct, so,
forgive me for not understanding this properly. So what you're suggesting is in the fiscal '27 budget,
Yep.
you're assuming a certain amount of circuit breaker reserve, but you're not spending any of that. Am I understanding that correctly? Not in '27.
we're assuming a certain amount of this year's money to be carried forward into next year that we will deplete 100%. And we're also utilizing part of next year's circuit breaker, whereas historically, all we've had to rely on is next year's circuit breaker.
You're always playing catch-up.
Correct.
Okay.
In the ideal world is you're not using it at all.
Yes,
you'll get
that is
there,
the
and you're
goal that
getting
we
there.
are working towards. It's just, it's a very difficult
Yes, to get,
thing to do in one year.
you're getting
Is
there.
the
Oh,
$1
no.
million your zero base? Or is it, where do you want the reserve to be?
Say that question again.
So the reserve will change every year, so ideally, the reserve will be at 100% of the current year's.
Okay, so it'll fluctuate.
Yes. It can never be more than 100%. So say we had a very large claim this year, but next year's claim went down, you can't carry every year as its own individual.
But you have to spend it in that year.
Yes.
So if you, yeah, okay.
But this year we would, if we were in ideal situations, we would want $2.5 million in the reserve.
And we're working
And
towards
when you're
that.
working there,
Yes.
and I know it's great, I think, I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
And
what
we
we
also
Periods of
built-
time where we weren't getting, we weren't.
We
even
built some
applying for circuit breaker
contingencies
funds.
around the grants because we just do not know what the federal government is going to
Yes.
do. There's a lot of
Yes.
discussion about enrollments are down, we don't know what the funding's going to be, so we also wanted to be,
Well, and I agree, there's a lot of uncertainty in what's going on. So I guess so we're using one-time funds to fund permanent costs. Am I understanding that correctly?
So
Is
that's
it-
where the trickiness comes in, right?
Okay.
So if you go to-
I'm sorry, if I'm getting ahead of
No,
things, I apologize.
you're right there, right? So the recommended school budget is $22.2 million. Yet, in full transparency, because I feel like that's
Which we
important.
appreciate.
To the town, I proposed to the school committee to spend 73.7, almost $74 million with using circuit breaker to offset that. But that means that FY '28, whatever is the allotment, goes off of the base, which is 72.2. So what I shared with the school committee is more reasons why I'm saying that we need to start thinking about an override for FY '28, because these funds are not set into the base budget.
and that's partly why we took the approach to be 100% transparent, to say we reduced sort of what we thought for the grants. We are using the circuit breaker because we didn't want to just show up with the 72.2 without the story behind what we're trying to do with it.
And it's really just giving you the opportunity, as you've been working on this year, to figure out what the need is to.
Yeah, I think
figure
once
out
we
what
have
an
the strategic
override
plan in
might
place,
look
we'll have even more information in terms of the things that we're looking for and what the district and what the community is looking for the school department. But in reality, it has been a lean year for us, and in some spots, a challenging year. And I think this is appropriate. These are positions that we need to continue to keep the momentum moving forward. And so that is why we went forward with this budget.
But if we, for example, if there is an override that does not pass, this is not a sustainable way to move forward.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Right, so.
So
it's-
there
but
may
it
be
was
hard
laying the
decisions
groundwork,
in
and so-
FY
yeah.
'28
Yeah,
if it doesn't pass.
definitely.
Yeah, and the school committee was fully briefed and made, and we are being transparent too, and that's something that we are saying we need to, we are advocating for. When we took this vote to approve this budget, we said collectively that the school committee is advocating that we encourage the town to go for an override next year for fiscal year '28. That is like our official stance as a group of five and as a committee, because we recognize that these positions are things that we've made it through this year, but like at Franklin, we need that teacher. The fifth grade classrooms would just be too big. At the middle school, we need that teacher. The classes are just too big. Dr. Goddard is a fantastic principal at the ABECC, but she is trying to run a building of 500.
It's the second largest
Second
elementary
largest
school.
elementary school, and she's all by herself doing that. She needs an assistant principal there to be able to continue to work on early literacy, because she spends all of her time just getting through the supervision and evaluation, let alone all the other things that need to happen. So like there are real needs that we have to address, and like some of the people that we are adding, we're already paying in other ways. Like these aren't extravagant asks that we're putting in here. We need another bus because it takes kids a long time to get home right now. We need to add that bus, and that's expensive. And we're fully aware of like the implications of one-time spending. We don't like it either. I would rather have $2.5 million going into the reserve than the one, but we have to somehow meet in between to move forward in both being financially secure and making sure we're doing what's right for our kids.
And ultimately, it becomes a community decision, so that's.
Right, which I'd feel comfortable not adding staff until we've had that community decision, and they've made it. That's my concern, right? We're going to bring on, I know it's 10 on there, but you're already paying 3 essentially already in the budget, right? So there's 7 other staff that I'm not disputing the need, right? But we're going to bring them on and tell them to walk the plank, and then walk back into town meeting next year and say, don't make us do it. That's my concern.
It's a valid concern. I guess what I would say is that if we want to move forward with the academics and the achievement, and hoping to make improvements in the achievement, and some of the recommendations that we've seen in some of these reviews that have come forward, we need to start investing in some of these positions to be able to support our students in the classroom. If we don't pass the override, then, you go back and look at, I'd easily decrease the I wouldn't easily, but decrease the substitute rate and look at other ways that we might be able to keep the staffing. But you're not wrong, but, it's, if we want to move forward in this town, then we need to invest in some of these staffing positions. We could go back to the slide that shows the multiple other positions that we looked for that we chose to bypass this year because of the school committee's, it's at the beginning somewhere, because of the school committee's directives and where we saw an immediate need. And you'll see largely we're putting most of our funding in special education this year because it is an area of concern. We have a high special education service rate here in North Andover. If we're not equal to, we may be slightly higher than the state's average of special education students. We're slightly above the state's average.
And don't take the questions in the spirit that they're intended. I appreciate that. I know how hard this is, and I know the multiple requests you're getting. There's a lot going on in all of this. And you guys have done a remarkable job staying on point this year, right? And for the first time in a long time, that just makes me concerned when we start to veer away from what we all advocate as sound policies of, how we use one-time funds. So that's what gives me concern.
Everybody understands it may mean require adjustments.
For part of it, this is not, this is an approach that a lot of districts utilize because that's what the funds are there for. I'm not gonna put I might put the town manager, but we did discuss this internally as well. There was a lot of really good dialogue back and forth, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And I will say, as we've gotten further along in the year,
Don't say it.
no, it's feeling like this was back in, again, we do the budgets intentionally very early in the year. We have a lot more months behind us. We'll have an update this week for school committee where we're actually ahead of the curve with the circuit breaker. So if you were to ask me, am I feeling more comfortable that we're actually going to have more available in circuit breaker so we won't be tapping into as much of next year's? Yes, I definitely feel we're more comfortable, and as budgets come out from the state, we'll get a better sense of, so the 2.5 is also a low number if they fund it, where they're funding it this year. So we didn't go into this lightly. We made sure we had guardrails and bumper guards, whatever we want to call them.
Conservative approach, though, I think it makes sense.
And just so I'm clear, 72.2 would fund everything we're doing this year. Is that correct? And I understand the argument is we need more, and that this year is not good enough. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the math on that. Is that, with COLAs and everything else, is that accurate? Or
We are putting forth a balanced budget at 72.2, utilizing the circuit breaker the way we just described it. So I guess that's it does.
So, all right, so the
Funds.
$1,505,000 is not solely investments in adding new staff. Is that?
It is not, because we
Okay.
did add some additional expenses as well. So
Right,
when
we did,
asked,
yeah.
what would you do next year, we could go back where we have a technology replenishment, we could look at that. We increased, hopefully there are no principals in the room, we increased the principals' allocations, we only get stabbed in the back. We could reduce some of those. So there are items that we also know we could pull back
Yeah.
on if something were to happen.
But that's, I guess, where I want to make sure it's clear of, that the $1,505,000 in circuit breaker isn't just solely would like to do it. It's somewhat necessary. At least some portions of it is necessary to maintain what we're doing today.
And some of it, like $250,000 of it, is for protecting ourselves against the uncertainty of the federal government and the grants that we get for IDA. So that's us working towards preserving some services in case those funds don't come through the way they have. This year they came in late, so there's a lot of uncertainty there. And those are things that we need to continue to make sure we have. The Chromebooks, we put those off for a couple of years. They're vital to kids in schools. They're not lifetime guarantee. They only last for so long, and
Lucky to make it a year in some households.
Do we have a program where we switch them out every you know what I mean?
This
is what you're trying to.
added this.
Well, Jackson's had his since third grade, and he's a freshman.
So this was one of the items when we sat down and said this is
needs to
us
happen.
getting into a replenishment.
Yeah.
Would that normally be a
Cycle.
capital item or no? Or could it be?
They don't really have a lifespan that meets capital.
Got it.
Yeah. Could be 5 years.
They definitely don't have that, okay. Okay.
So
We're
this,
working on that
yeah.
also.
So that was us looking holistically at everything, saying these are the steps, because otherwise you get too far behind it, and then you're not doing slight replacements of Chromebooks. You have a much larger.
Curriculum work is expensive too, and that's not a capital expense either. Because it's those things, they don't last 5 years. They're consumables that you have to pay for.
I mean, I think the important thing is that we're having this conversation, and we are all aware that where that 1.5 million is coming from, right? And then we can we can have those conversations of, and I think when we present it to town meeting, it has to be clear that this is, it's setting the stage and being clear that this is money, we're using a one-time for a recurring expense and,
But it's amazing that you're only gonna use half of it, so. I think that's great.
I appreciate you coming and explaining it all to us.
And we, tomorrow, what's today, Tuesday, Thursday, the school committee will hear a presentation on proposed user fees. So looking at user fees, again, across the district.
So, like our transportation line, we bring in $300,000 right now, I think it is.
So there is potential for the
That's
user
one of the-
fees
that's the
that we
user
might,
fees.
it could afford some,
I haven't heard the presentation yet, but that's an example of what the user fee, or unlike user fees, we just don't know what the presentation's gonna be yet, but,
Thank you for looking at all of this.
as well as budget update.
Budget update. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's gonna restart in a couple minutes, because I postponed it.
All right. We're going to move on to item C, which is a petition of Eversource for gas main replacement and relocation on Route 114, Peter Street, Cotuit Street, Waverly Road, Berkeley Street, and Hillside Road. So let us know who you are and.
Yes, I'm going to stand if that's okay with the board. I've been sitting all day. So, my name is Louis DeRojas. I'm a senior project engineer with Eversource Gas side of the business. Behind me, I have Rob McCabe, who's one of our construction supervisors, and Peter Bowman, who is community relations from Eversource. They're mostly here for moral support, but they're here to also chime in if there's any questions I can't answer. Before I continue, I don't want to assume anything. Is the board aware of the road reconstruction project that Mass DOT is doing on 114?
All well too aware.
Yes. Okay. That's what I. All right. So what I'm petitioning today is the Eversource gas work, which is in relation to that project. In order for us to do the relocations we need to on the state jurisdiction road 114. We need to affect some of the side streets that are off of 114. So the listed streets, Berkeley Street, Hillside Road, Cotuit, Waverly, Peters. There are some gas connections we'll need to make on those roads. So kind of why I'm here is just representing the need for us to be on those roads because they're public right-of-ways for the town and they're not under state jurisdiction. So we already have our approval with the state to work on 114, and now I'm just approaching the town to make sure that we're all aware that we also have to work on some of the town-owned roads. So I know the map is 56 pages. There's a lot. You see one map, you see them all. So I understand that people haven't had a chance to review it, but I'm here for questions if anyone has any issues or any questions about the construction that we're planning on doing this year.
I know I stepped out for a minute, but I wanted just to add that we have found out that the 114 project has now been bid and awarded. I don't know if, so it's been bid and awarded to J.H. Lynch and Sons, and the completion date is May 12th, 2031.
When's the start date?
They don't list the start date, but before.
Yeah. So we actually had a pre-construction meeting today. So I met J.H. Lynch and all of the stakeholders for the project. So it is a 5-year. They're projecting a 5-year project. All the utility work is planned to be this year and maybe into next year. The gas plan for Eversource, we're planning on just doing everything this year on our side. What they do after that is all after us. So, but they're planning. I think site visits will be within the next month or two, and then they're going to start this summer, as far as I know. So
There'll be a community construction meeting, which we'll get dates on.
yeah.
For the 114 project?
For the 114 project, yeah.
I can say personally, I'm always in favor of replacing gas lines. So. Yeah.
Mine went up.
If you could do more, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
But I did get a nicer house.
How long would you anticipate this project taking? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, so we're kind of at the mercy of the Mass DOT and what their scheduling looks like. Ours, we're not doing one long shot on Route 114. There's a lot of small segments because of catch basins. So rather than replace 8,000 feet over almost 2 miles of pipe, we're just doing sections. So it really depends on when they need us out there. Each section would take maybe 3 to 5 days on our side. For the side streets that we're on, Berkeley Street, I think is the longest. It's 360 feet. So I don't expect it to take too long, and we shouldn't be in anyone's hair for longer than we need to. So
Would you do any of these at concurrently at different parts of the project, or no?
It depends on crew resources, which we're still kind of figuring out on our side. But currently, the idea is to have one crew out there full-time when the Mass DOT needs them to be on site. So if we have more crew resources and can free them up, then we can do simultaneous, yeah.
And how does this impact residents?
So I think part of the plan here too is once we get our scheduling more in place and we coordinate with the Mass DOT a bit, all affected residents, they'll get notification from our construction team. I think we do flyers, make sure that they have advance notice when we're going to be on their street and how long we're going to be on their street. I think for example, Berkeley is the longest stretch that we have to rerun. We will need to tie over the affected services. Anyone that's on a gas line, we'll tie them over to the new gas line. And that would be a day maybe that they're out for.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So it's like you're required to have a detail at all times.
Yes, correct. Yep.
So you run the new main and then just tie people in, so it's minimum, is that?
Exactly, and then we abandon the old main. Yep.
How long do you might have already said this, but how long do you think this will take?
Yeah, so
'Cause it's really kind of a nasty road when there's traffic.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Here we go. I got a real serious nodder in the front.
yeah, no. Yeah, we're aware. So it's it depends on the Mass DOT on when they need us there. We don't expect our work to take much longer than we need to, especially, we're planning on having traffic details in addition to whatever the traffic plan that the Mass DOT puts together. So our ideal situation would be to just kind of be in and out and not bother people more than we have to. We don't do too much work in North Andover like nowadays, so the idea is to kind of let things be where they are. So
It's just going to be, traffic in that area will be kind of a nightmare, but
Yeah.
they're just going to.
may as well do all the traffic all at one time rather than have us
Yeah.
string it out. So
It's like, just going to be.
The one problem with that, though, is people in town, we're a big rectangle. So when you go from, say, the Lawrence line all the way up to the Middleton line, it's trafficy.
that's the one route. Yeah.
So we just hope that we're not going to find our friends and neighbors cutting through back roads and back streets and so forth and so on, because that's not going to make.
Sure we will for.
Yeah, I know.
Period of time
Well,
possible.
I'm just saying that so that, a whole different traffic pattern than what we're all used to could be, could be a little annoying
Yep,
for some
absolutely.
people.
I know from the pre-construction meeting I attended today, it seems like their plan is to have the community outreach meeting so people can also voice the same concerns. I know in North Andover, this was years ago, I was helping with gas mains for, they were doing like the safe streets to school or safe sidewalks to school. So I remember the traffic issues we had then too. So I'm well aware, and we're going to do our best to make sure like the traffic management plans are suitable for everyone, especially the residents. So.
Okay, great, sounds good.
I'll take a motion.
I'll move that the select board approve the petition of Eversource for a gas main replacement and relocation on Route 114, Peter Street, Katuitt Street, Waverly Road, Berkeley Street, and Hillside Road, subject to all specifications and conditions contained in the street opening permit.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just have one question. Will Merrimack College be done most of their construction when you start this? I wasn't paying attention to the.
I'm
date.
not quite sure. I know that they have asked for some gas petitions previously, but yeah, I'm not sure if the Mass DOT has contacted them, so it's kind of outside the realm of our stuff. I don't know if they're going to be doing stuff simultaneously, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, we'll all be surprised.
Yeah, right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay, we're going to move to item D, which is the vote to adopt the sustainable purchasing policy, which we heard a little bit about in public comment, and I'm wondering if you want to give us.
Yeah, absolutely. And they summed it up very well, but we have been doing a recycling policy, purchasing policy the last few years. There was some changes that were required by the state to make sure that we are in compliance. And we need this passed so that we are eligible for a grant that we do use to do the composting program. And so, as they stated, it's really a best practice for us, and there's already things that we do buy recycled today.
Again, it's all as we're able to, so there's nothing super binding about it.
Correct.
What does whenever feasible mean? It's in big bold. I mean, does that?
Whatever feasible is when it's not going to be, when it's still cost effective, if it doesn't hurt the progress of a project. So one like example is copier paper. Like buying recycled copier paper instead of buying is not like a huge change in the price. And so that's something that's easy for us to do. So that's a easy example of something that's
Got it.
feasible.
So,
Yeah.
so it can be feasible if something can cost 30% more. That's
Yes.
certainly feasible. We can afford it, but we're not necessarily obligated to do that.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
What kind of like monitors, like that we're buying recycled, or is it like a policy that you guys put out to the town? You know what I mean?
We send this all out, this goes out to all the department heads.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Laurie does all of the RFPs for anything that's
Oh, well,
purchased, so, she gets to keep an eye on what we can buy recycled, what we can't.
audit of this or anything like that.
No.
It's just a good faith effort.
Mm-hmm.
is the-
Are there like specific things DPW can do to? Is it
For sustainable purchasing, I mean, we could look at like.
We're still allowed by salt, right?
We still need salt, yes.
recycling? Can we sweep it up from this year?
I mean, there's certain things you could look at, like your gas or the type of cars we buy, that kind of thing that could have impact.
It's not going to mandate us buying electric weed
No, we
trimmers.
already have that in place for some of our vehicles because we're a green community. So it wouldn't impact that,
So this is really just language change, so we can continue.
to be eligible for the
to
grant.
be eligible for.
Which is a good thing.
Then I will move that the select board adopt sustainable purchasing policy.
I have a motion. And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we are gonna head into licensing.
We don't get applause often. so I'll
I
take it.
know.
Yeah, so,
Positive reinforcement.
We'll take it.
Madam Chair, I move that we enter the meeting of the North Andover Licensing Commission.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll hand it over to you.
First item requires a public hearing, so I'll take a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, winter public hearing. Our first, our one public hearing matter is an application from Tavern Opco LLC, DBA Tavern in the Square, for an on-premise all alcohol beverages like liquor license at 435 Main Street. Looks like they're here. If you could introduce yourself and tell us what we're here to discuss.
Absolutely. My name is Attorney Tyler Hensler here on behalf of Tavern in the Square. Joining me is Matthew White, the proposed manager of record. As you just heard, this is an application for a transfer of an all-alcohol license and a common victualler. I know that's a separate item, but I'm going to discuss both at the same time. That's for food for those listening. At the 435 Andover Street, where the old Bertucci's was. Tavern in the Square is very excited about their new concept at this location. For those of you that have not been at a Tavern in the Square, recently it is a family-friendly restaurant, has lots of TVs where you can watch perhaps your March Madness bracket get busted like mine definitely didn't get. And they have a big menu, great menu, lots of options. Public need for a license at this location has been established simply by the fact that there has been a restaurant approved by this board for the past 30 years, that being Bertucci's.
Longer than that. Used to be the
30
Thompson.
plus. I have a plus sign here, and I left that out.
Well, I know that area well. It was Thompson's, which was to be, I don't know, I'll say it as politely as I can. It was Yankee food. It was New England style food, and it was there for decades.
I'm imagining French onion soup.
Yes, yeah, that was one of them.
Well, while that and Bertucci's have had some trouble as a company across the board, it does not change the fact that this is an excellent location for a restaurant. new tavern in the square is also investing $5.8 million in this location for a
God bless
total remodel and refurbishment. They think that this shows long-term investment in the community. They think it's a total plus for the community, have a brand-new restaurant to go to, and honestly, it's in line with some of the changes planned for that area that I think you just heard a little bit about with the Eversource people. The character and fitness of the applicant is also very strong. Tavern has a new owner, and that new owner is the owner of 240-plus locations of various restaurants, various concepts around the country. This means they have rigorous internal training requirements and alcohol policies. For example, they're requiring all alcohol servers across the board at this location to be tip certified before they start handling alcohol. Manager of record, as I mentioned before, will be Matthew White. Matthew is a U.S. citizen. He's a Massachusetts resident. He is familiar with the rules and regulations related to the sale and service of alcohol of this board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth. And he has experience in the industry, having served as a manager of the Broadway Hospitality Group since 2014. I have here with me, before I wrap up, the abutters notifications, proof of mailing. Great. And with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Are you miraculously increasing parking spaces?
If you have a way, let us know.
Only if you go over to
garage?
urgent,
I don't know.
only if you go over to urgent care, which is right next by. No, please don't do that, I'm joking.
No, it is actually, I think, a fair question that, the previous occupant did a lot of takeout businesses, I think you guys know. Are you anticipating a lot of walkers from maybe, I don't know, across the street?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay. Which, again, all the more reason to have the tip certification. Are there multiple managers as well who are going to be in this license? Speaking of a topic that's come up recently.
Early, they're very early in the process. Hiring more robustly will come later.
Okay.
Right now, it's just Matt as the manager, but
As you are aware, a manager will have to be on site at all times, at least a manager.
right.
Correct. Okay.
May I give my little reminder?
When do you expect to open? And then you.
Okay, thank you.
We hope July.
Okay.
Oh,
So
There's
it's
a lot of
early.
construct-
It's
yeah,
early. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of construction to be done, so yeah.
Yeah,
We
you can see
targeting
it when you
July
drive
right
by.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I give this speech to everybody that we're obviously a college town. So we really, and out-of-state licenses do not work. You have to have a Massachusetts license, or you run it at your own risk. If it's not the correct license, you put yourself and your business at risk. Being a college town, we don't want anybody hurt, and I'm sure you don't either. I could see it. I could see the way you're. So, what I tell people, this is your fair warning. You've been told, so please have your staff tip certified and also checking IDs, because we don't want anybody hurt. We just don't, and I know you don't. I can tell.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm a mother, I can tell. So, but it sounds like a very exciting project, and I think it'll do well.
There's a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah, well, every time I go by, I'm like, what are they doing to
You're
this?
going to open, so now they'll.
No roof deck like Woburn,
No.
but outdoor seating, correct?
Yes.
As I see in the plan?
Where's that gonna be?
I was going to say, where is
It
that
looks
gonna
like it's
go?
right in the triangle, right in front, right? Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant?
And Melissa, maybe you can clarify this. What is the requirement for a license? I thought we had a previous applicant that you don't need to have a Massachusetts.
You do not need to have a Massachusetts
that's right.
license.
Not anymore. It's been
Right,
decades.
not anymore, but they will now accept other licenses as well. It does, but it is with conditional risk. So basically, you're taking additional risk on if you take a license that's not a Massachusetts state license. And when they decide they're going to do that, they take on that risk, the risk.
Yeah, the state, if I can help, the state kind of standard, if you're caught by the ABCC or the local board for service to a minor, it's kind of a strict liability violation unless you took a valid in-state ID. Everything else is just a strict liability violation. So a valid Florida ID, someone using their older brothers or something, still, illegal. But it's really only passports and in-state Massachusetts IDs that end up being valid that are, the only defenses to a service to a minor. Everything else is. So again, that's where that at your own risk kind of comes in.
Gotcha.
Just back to the parking, one more thing, you may not know this. I mean, do you have cross parking rights with the other tenants in that site? Like if someone's parking at Chase, are they going to get towed?
I believe it's shared.
Okay.
I would have to verify.
I would have to
Sorry.
comb through that lease.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Okay.
We can get an answer for that.
Just because I know it's been a restaurant, been a successful restaurant for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating you guys to be quite successful here. We do, listen, sometimes it's hard to find parking over in the mills. So we don't want to create a bigger challenge there getting out.
Yeah,
So-
of course, that's always the challenge.
Be a good challenge to have. Too many customers.
It's true.
Is there anyone here for public comment for this? We're in a public hearing.
Good luck.
That's what we're all thinking.
We're open right now.
In a good way.
I'll take a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion?
And just a
Hearing
reminder,
none.
there is a series of conditions that the departments have put forward because this is still a little bit in its infancy. So I just want to make sure that we,
I was going to mention that.
thank you, acknowledge those.
All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, on the application, as Melissa mentioned, so the building department, final permit sign-offs and certificate of occupancy have not been issued. Health department food establishment plan has been approved. Food permit will be issued following a successful pre-opening inspection. Dumpster permit has been issued. Fire department requirements will be satisfied upon issue of the certificate of occupancy. So it's not all the permits that have been filed or approved such yet. Do you have any other questions, comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that the select board acting as licensing commissioners approve the application from Tavern Opco LLC, DBA Tavern in the Square for, not common victular, for on-premises all alcohol beverage liquor license at 435 Andover Street, subject to the applicant obtaining all required inspections and approvals prior to the issuance of the license and prior to the business opening.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Take a second motion.
With the select board acting as licensing commissioners, approve the application from Tavern Opco LLC, DBA Tavern in the Square, for common victular and entertainment licenses at 435 Andover Street, subject to applicant obtaining all required inspections and approvals prior to the issuance of the license and prior to the business opening.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
We're very excited you're coming.
All right, hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
There's actually a lot of.
All right, next up is an application from Shauna Smith of the Kachikawick Lodge Properties, Inc. for common vicular entertainment license at 19 Johnson Street. Anyone here from Kachikawick Lodge Properties, Inc.? Hi. Could you,
You have an R in there,
Sean, it's not Sean, Shauna Smith, it's Sean B. Smith.
Yeah.
Apologies, thank you.
No worries. I've been called worse.
Well, restate your name, please, and your address.
Sean B. Smith. I'm the president of the Kachikawick Lodge Properties Corporation for the Masonic Hall.
Okay. And what are you applying for?
We need a common vic. I'm the new president.
Okay, congratulations.
And we've been doing nothing but making paperwork up to date, things we haven't done. We've been holding a breakfast there for 57 years and never heard of this license before until somebody brought it to our attention. So I don't know what to say, just It never came up. I guess we were grandfathered in for the first 57 years and a month. So we just, don't say that. There'll probably be some kind of grandfathering in there, I don't know. So we're just trying to get our paperwork up to date. Somebody mentioned that we needed an entertainment license because some of our renters bring in a DJ for a party or something like that, so we applied for that also.
Well, the TV even counts if it's there all the time as entertainment.
What's that there?
A TV counts if they
Oh, we
have
don't have a TV in there.
Okay.
It's a big empty room.
It is.
If I put a TV in there, somebody would steal it.
Yeah.
We have a very
probably.
liberal rental policy where we don't go to your party if you rent from us.
Yeah, you don't want to.
We
You don't
give
want to
people a
see.
key, a door code, they go in, they set up, they take down, and they leave, so nobody watches them if they steal the silverware. But
They use your kitchen? Someone else does?
no, well, we don't, no, nobody
don't
uses
wanna
that
set the
kitchen.
place
We
on
have a
fire.
kitchen, but they're not allowed to use it.
Yeah.
It's a manually, the stove is older than I am, and I don't have to teach every renter how to use it, so.
Get some microwaves.
We do have a microwave. I don't think they use that either. Any food that gets brought in is normally a catered
Yeah,
thing with the
that's true.
little chafing dish things, I guess. I don't know, I don't get invited.
Are you cooking the breakfast there?
That we do.
Okay. We were trying to figure out why he was
Why
getting
do
a
you
common
need
pick.
the
Yeah.
Well, we hold it once a month, 10
Okay.
months a year. And we cook, like I said, they've been cooking it for 57 years. I tried to get him to cancel it, and one of the guys said his car would drive there every second Sunday automatically. He's been doing, we have one guy who's been doing it for 57 years, same guy. So if we go there and get a pancake, it's from Alan Zucchini. He's been doing it for a long time.
Emily enjoyed them.
Yeah. So we only do it 10 months out of a year. You know, I did apply for multiple hours or days in case we decide to run something else. I didn't want to have to get a special one day, so we just kind of said, but as it goes, we do 1 month a year. We pay a lot of money for hood cleaning for 10 days of usage.
Oh, wow.
But it is what it is.
We enjoy having you in town.
Yeah, we enjoy being in town. We're not going anywhere.
Do you have any other questions for the applicant? Sean B. Smith. Favorable recommendation has been given from the fire department, police department, health department, and building inspector with no conditions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that the select board, acting as licensing commissioners, approve the application from Sean B. Smith of the Kachikowick Lodge Properties, Inc. for a common vic and entertainment license at 19 Johnson Street.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you so
very
much. Yeah, see you at breakfast.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience.
All right. Very patiently waiting, we have an application from Scott Brandolini from Brando's Cutlets and Catering for a common vic and entertainment license at 80 Chickering Road. Thank you. If you could state your name and why you're here. I took a
Last but not
chance.
least, Scott Brandolini and William Griffin from Brando's Cutlets.
Is this the Harrisons? Or former
Yes.
Harrisons?
Yeah.
Well,
We've
they-
been open in Haverhill for 5 months, and we need more space.
Are you guys, is this gonna be a second location or?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be second.
It's gonna be called Brando's Part Two.
Part two. I love it. So I was there yesterday in Haverhill.
Oh, nice.
Were you there early?
No,
With the bloggers?
No, I was there at like 3, but.
Eight girls shooting video before we even opened. Yeah. It was fun.
No, it was impressive. You guys are busy and
Thank
it
you.
was fabulous, so.
How was everything okay?
Oh my God, amazing. Can't wait to have you here.
Yeah, there's a line out the door. We need to trim it down and have this side of the valley start coming here. Because our place in Haverhill is about a third of the size of the
Yes,
Harrisons,
yeah,
and
yeah, it's-
we're at capacity.
yeah.
So.
Well,
Yeah.
the family that, years ago, many years ago, they moved to that location, and it was a very nice family. The
we
husband and wife, or yeah, it was a very nice family.
The
but-
Harrisons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids have taken it over, but the parents did a wonderful job, and they loved the business.
It was an iconic sandwich shop. We're hoping to get close to.
We assure you that we're gonna create a spectacle over there. So,
I can't wait.
I mean, we have 2,000 square feet in Haverhill. we're viral on the internet right now.
On accident.
So, and we're going to, you know, we've already gone inside, and Dean did a pretty good job cleaning up before us, you know, the last guy that was there. But I own a restaurant equipment company in Haverhill as well, and we redid all the equipment. We took the old dining room that was on the right-hand side when you went in. We built the whole commissary in there, you know, because we got to feed 2 stores, you know, the Haverhill store and that one. We plan on doing the parking lot over, you know, sometime in the beginning of the summer. Brand new parking lot. We're going to ask the building inspector, which we've already been talking to him about. We're going to put a deck outside. We're going to put some tables, umbrellas. We poke fun at ourselves, and if you come into the store and look at the store, about the old mob movies, you know, The Godfather, Bronx Tale, all that
The
stuff.
names of the sandwiches you'll get a laugh at.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, you'll see the menu when you go in there, and
that's fun.
yeah,
Yeah, we had a lot.
Yeah, when do we open?
we're looking to open a week from next Monday.
Oh, wow.
We've been working.
Inside's done.
Well,
It's
well,
ready, so
when you drive by, you're like, wait,
signs
there's
are going
nobody.
up tomorrow.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, we got a lot of work to do for the last push.
But as
So
you
if
drive
we open-
by, you don't see, it's like, nobody's eating there. They must be doing some work inside or
Oh,
something.
yeah, it's all, everything inside is all done, so,
Signs.
So something for us all
Signs
to look
tomorrow.
forward.
Go up this week.
Yeah.
yeah.
People are really talking about it, so.
Yeah, it's almost terrifying.
Well,
I'm
we're
like,
gonna
nobody knows me in North Andover.
Oh, they will now. The college kids will know you. 'cause
Yeah.
they would
we're
walk
already,
down.
we're already catering.
Because I think you'll, you know.
My son went to school in at St. Michael's.
Okay.
Well, they've already
It's a
reached,
lovely
they've reached out already, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We're
but I-
gonna try to put a special menu together for the college kids.
I don't think we need to, but they're coming anyway.
Yeah.
You gotta do your
We're already
delivery and
kid-
just do
we're already
DoorDash,
catering.
Uber Eats kind of thing.
Right now, we do our own. If we turned on DoorDash in Haverhill, we'd probably implode. But the goal is to be able to do that because
We can't even do online ordering.
Commissary, got it.
Yeah,
It's so
but
big, it's
with
so-
at the Harrison's location, we'll have a bigger kitchen, more we can handle a lot more. So right now we do our own delivery, and there's a private delivery service in Haverhill that helps us out. But we anticipate turning on DoorDash and Uber Eats in Harrison's, and then
Maybe.
if Harrison's takes some of the overflow from Haverhill, maybe we can turn DoorDash on in Haverhill. But
Not right now.
Yeah, we can't
I
even,
had
we,
like multiple phones going, like cell phones, it was like,
oh,
whatever.
yeah,
Any
well, yeah,
online
when the
ordering? No online
landline.
ordering?
Sorry.
what's that? No
Online
online.
ordering? Like,
No, and they
We-
come in,
we
they
don't
come
even
in all
have a
upset at
website.
us, but we just can't do
I,
it.
you got it, I got
You
it.
know?
Yeah.
Well, if that one letter
call
or
over.
one digit is off, you're not going to get it if it's online.
It's,
know, with
it's
the
not,
email.
it's a matter of being able to handle
Handle
it.
the
Yeah.
volume.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're doing it,
It's a good problem. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
It is.
And they understand. People come in and we'll tell them, I mean, if they didn't call in and they
wait.
walk in the store, we tell them there's an hour wait. They stay. I mean, I'm amazed, you know, so.
For
I
a
mean, we,
So
Big
call in,
shit show.
all right, got it.
call you.
But-
We're gonna do a soft opening the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
and a grand on
And then
that Friday.
that Friday, I got the big Vegas lights in the parking lot gonna be shining into the
Red
skies.
carpet.
You know, so we're gonna treat it like a movie premiere.
You're having a little too much fun.
We are having a lot of.
Oh, we are.
We have been having a
No,
lot
I
of
think
fun.
it's great, but
Yeah.
it's just funny because you're making, you don't need to hire entertainment. You guys could
We are the
be
entertainment.
comedians that.
Show the Facebook, somebody.
Yeah, you gotta start,
We have a lot-
start looking at our social media, you know?
We make fun of ourselves and have fun.
Good.
Yeah,
Good
that's
times.
all.
What's the number one?
The
Chicken
cup-
parm.
The chicken parm,
Chicken
yeah.
parm, Virgil.
We just added the Cadillac, which is the chicken parm with vodka sauce, and that's actually starting to take over.
Yeah, it is vodka sauce, burrata, pesto,
Yeah.
yeah. We only use Triple E bread,
Oh, they
So-
make great bread.
yeah.
And we tried a handful of bakeries first, and we went to them last, and pretty sure they were gonna do it.
And
yeah,
they make a seated roll for us.
special one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have one in North Andover right up the
Yep.
street.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you know. that
Yeah,
if you
no,
run
we
out-
already told Matt that when we run out of bread, we're gonna go clean them out, you know, so. But we're so busy, we're doing over 300 sticks a day, Triple E sticks. And our large sandwich is this big.
2 feet.
Are you
So,
kidding? So it could feed the whole
Yeah,
family?
people make the
The whole
mistake of
family.
ordering a large. You didn't tell me it was gonna be that big.
Yeah,
And-
they're leaving with 2 sandwiches because we have to wrap it in 2. And they're like, I only ordered 1. I goes, no, that is 1.
That's
So-
a lot.
And they don't understand, you
Yeah.
know? But we're excited, excited about coming over here.
I was already hungry and this is.
I know.
So when you're stuck in traffic on 114,
Exactly.
Because of the gas.
come over, wait for the traffic to die down and have a sandwich.
And we have plenty of parking.
Yes.
You know?
And then, yeah, we had the pasta fagioli and the arancini.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's my favorite soup to make. That's
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
still my job at the moment.
Okay.
But I don't know about.
We'll keep doing it because it's good.
Yeah.
Scott's the executive chef, so I'm the gopher.
Head
Okay?
dishwasher.
Go for this, go for that. I build them and he runs them, you know?
It's so exciting. Do you guys have any other
No,
questions?
we could be here all night. We're having too much
Shouldn't
fun.
delay this any further. Let's go.
Favorable recommendations been given from the police department, fire department, health department, building inspector with no conditions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move the select board acting as licensed commissioners approve the application from Scott Brandolini of Brando's Cutlets and Catering for a common vic at the entertainment license at 80 Chickering Road.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone. I
you for your
appreciate it.
patience.
Hope to see you soon.
Can we
very
just,
excited.
we do need to change one thing. It's Scott Brandolini, William Griffin in there. I don't know if we put that in there.
Yeah,
In the
it is in the
application?
paperwork as a partnership.
Okay.
It,
Say that one more time, please.
it's a partnership, so it's Scott Brandolini and William Griffin. Hopefully, it was applied that way.
Can we amend in the minutes in order
We'll
to
make sure
take
the
it over?
application.
You applied as a
The town
corporation.
manager will make sure that
Say
that's
again?
correct.
Just in case he tries to
Yeah,
take
Casey
the
said
store away from me. I don't have to whack him, you know what I mean? So, thank you.
Is it possibly like a corporation but a partnership model, or?
It's a corporation partnership model, yes.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
supposed
So,
He's a lawyer.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
that's probably fine, yeah.
If he's not on,
If
it's
not,
fine.
he'll talk to
yeah,
Melissa.
Brando's Cutlets Corp.
And she's
2
a
is
lawyer.
what's on here, so that should be.
And the one sitting next to her is a
Yeah, it's all the
lawyer.
paperwork said, yeah, indicates it's a corporation.
Brando's part
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Brando's,
That's what the application is under.
Yep.
Yeah.
and I see you're on there too, as a partner.
What's that?
You're on there as a partner.
Right.
Don't worry, you're good. It's okay, gonna be okay.
Now, I don't know if you guys know, his father was Dick Brandolini.
Grandfather.
Grandfather, I mean.
The
The original
original
Brandos in Lawrence on the Falls, if you remember Brandos, you know?
I didn't know that. Okay,
80s,
that's great.
90s.
Yep.
Was a little guy.
Outstanding.
Very good.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Good luck.
Have a great night.
You'll be seeing a few of us.
Come on in.
I have 3 sons, so that would be good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Take a motion to close licensing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Back to you, Ms. Chair.
Okay, we are going to move on to consent items. Item to accept a donation in the amount of $1,615 to the Festival Committee for Sheep Shearing, and accept a donation to the library in the amount of $25 from Jean O'Dowd.
I move that the select board approve all consent items.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No? With our thanks, right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the open session minutes of March 9th? And I will take a motion if there are no changes.
I move that the select board approve the open session minutes of March 9th, 2026 as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to select board updates. Anybody?
Well, I would like, I know it's still a couple weeks away, but wish everybody a happy Easter and a happy Passover, and yeah. Hopefully it won't snow.
I just want to remind everybody that we're meeting next Monday for a tri-board meeting for the Kittredge Elementary School presentation. So it's a community meeting and a tri-board meeting, so we hope that it will be well attended.
Do we have seats?
It'll be 7 o'clock at the,
Senior center.
right? 7 at the senior center?
At the senior center.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what you call it when there's 4 of us.
Oh.
Four
Quad
boards,
board.
so we
Oh.
don't know what that would be.
For,
Quad
quad
board.
board.
Who's the fourth? Oh, the school
Oh,
building
because it,
committee?
yeah,
Okay.
okay, the
Yeah.
quad board, it's a,
But it's mostly,
yeah.
quad board meetings, it's okay.
I would like to congratulate all the contestants at the Scarlet Night, our sons included. I haven't laughed that hard in a while, at the same time burying my head in my hands.
You guys done?
Almost.
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 Can we shoot a quick video with you guys? Like, we'll just come here and stand here and just say, we just want to say North Andover gave us the green light. And then when we're done, we just want you guys to say, forget about it.
No.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
We're almost done.
2 minutes, finish.
We don't have our SAG card.
All right. Any other select board updates? All right, we're gonna hand it over to the town manager for her updates.
Well, I was going to tell you all about the 114 project, but I preempted myself because that was like the most exciting letter I've gotten in a while. So just so you know, our projected deficit for snow is $2,042,532. So we do have a warrant article talking about how we're going to fund that. We have some ideas, but those are pretty much our final numbers at this point. I hope. I feel like I never should have said that out loud, but as of today, the projected snow deficit is $2,042,532.
Well, it just snows every day
It won't
around
stop.
here.
Yep. So we'll talk a little bit about how we're going to bridge that. I'm not worried about it right now. We have solutions, but just so you're aware. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Our next meeting date will be March 30th, 2026. As Laura indicated, it will be a quad board meeting with Finance Committee, School Building Committee, and us, 7 p.m., and we hope for great attendance.
Actually,
Was it
is
March
that-
20th?
the April 6th?
Is that what?
No, we meet
No.
6th.
No, new one.
We added extra ones.
It's
Extra.
extra.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Laura.
More time with us.
Yep, we're so happy.
So excited.
And on that note, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and
Second.
a second. All those in favor?
Aye.